So it finished West Ham United 3, Leeds United 0, but really the result was kind of an irrelevance because obviously what happened at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a short way along the North Circular Road, rendered our result completely irrelevant. The opportunity for us to survive in the Premier League into the 26-27 season was taken out of our hands when Polina scored a goal in the 43rd minute. And what happened in the second half at London Stadium when we scored 3 goals through Tati, Bowen, and Wilson was completely not relevant in the grand scheme of things. We needed, obviously, Everton to do us a bit of a favour. Our old manager, David Moyes, had made noises about wanting us to stay up. And fortunately, they got one shot on target in the whole match, and it was towards the end of the game. And it was a pretty much what we thought it was going to be. I think most realistic West Ham fans were probably resigned to our fate a little while ago. We started to make inroads into trying to make a recovery, ironically enough, when we beat Spurs in the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, when we beat them 2-1. Callum Wilson got the winner. And from that point on, we started to reel Tottenham in. But I was very uncomfortable several weeks ago when we moved above Tottenham in the pecking order and we was out of the bottom 3. They went in at our expense. And there was an awful lot of West Ham fans that I saw on social media at that point that were crowing and making noises like the game it was done, and there were still several games to go, and I was really uncomfortable with that, and it's come back to bite us on the arse. But you know, the players have got to take their responsibility. There's players that I saw out there even yesterday that Malik Diouf, for me, I've never been a fan of his. I've always thought he's basically a defender that can't defend, which I think is a fundamental flaw, if you will. Uh, Going forwards, he's okay, but an awful lot of wasteful crosses. I think it was Jared Bowen, it might have been Nicholas Fulkrug when we got him in pre-season. He was obviously Graham Potter's star signing, and I remember one of the forwards saying that they were looking forward to getting on the receiving end of crosses that he would be providing, and they've been very hit and miss as far as I was concerned. And Wan-Bissaka, he was Hammer of the Year previous season, and this season a shadow of that player, was nowhere near that sort of standard, quite frankly. Other players have flattered to deceive. I think Thomas Souček yesterday was anonymous, and unless he's contributing with a goal, and he'll always give his best, and I always feel a little bit conflicted when I've got to sort of call him out and say that he didn't really do anything, because he offered nothing yesterday. And unless he's sort of getting involved with goals and headed clearances and all of those things, he doesn't really offer that much in the engine room. And I do wonder whether he might be, as far as sort of like players moving on is concerned, look, we've literally just gone down into the Championship. There'll be a lot of soul searching, a lot of recriminations, I'm sure. I'm hearing stories that Nuno may well be gone today. That wouldn't surprise me. I think probably his replacement will be very likely Scott Parker, because I think that's the easy way, because obviously David Sullivan and Scott Parker would know each other from Scott Parker's time as a West Ham player when he was 3 times in succession Hammer of the Year. And he has a track record of getting teams promoted from the Championship into the Premier League. He got Bournemouth promoted, he got Fulham promoted, he got Burnley promoted. But the thing is he didn't manage to keep any one of them in the Premier League when he got them there. So that would be my concern, truth be told. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting summer. There'll be a lot of players that will be on their way. Some whom are at the end of their contract, such as Callum Wilson. There'll be others who we will be having let's say fend off bids. That's probably not even correct. We're not in a position where we can fend off bids, quite frankly. We've lost our leverage as a Premier League club, so we're now a Championship club, and the vultures will be circling. Make no mistake about that. We have lost all our bargaining power, what we had of it, which wasn't much, because now we've dropped down a division, and every player is for sale. Every player will have their price, and if we've got to accept, say, 25, if a team comes in for Jared Bowen and offers us 25, 30 million, we probably have to accept it. Now, if we was a Premier League club, we'd probably be looking for double that, 50, 60 million, but we're not a Premier League club anymore. And we need to get this next 12 months. We need to get everything spot on. But my concern with it all is that all the time that David Sullivan's still at the helm, I'm not entirely convinced that there will be an awful lot of fundamental change. And I'm not convinced he's going to go anywhere. I'd love to be able to say that David Sullivan will be packing his bags and leaving imminently, but I'm not entirely convinced that's the case. There was obviously, he came in for a lot of stick in the second half, principally as we knew that our time as a Premier League team was drawing ever closer to coming to its conclusion. And he's earned it. He's earned it. Don't get me wrong, he's not the only one. I mean, Nuno, I do hold culpable. I do understand that he walked into a squad that was very ill-equipped for Premier League football, and that was as a result of Graham Potter and Kyle McCauley and Karen Brady really sort of not getting people in of an adequate standard. So I give Nuno a little bit of a I don't absolve him of responsibility, but I understand that he walked into a situation that was less than ideal and he couldn't do anything until January. But you look at what he did in January. He bought a player, as I understand it, had a £15 million release clause in his contract at Gil Vicente in Pablo and paid 24 million. I mean, what on earth was going on there? I mean, would you, in any other sphere, buying a car, buying a house, would you ever go in and the asking price is whatever, and then you pay a significant chunk on top of that? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in the real world. I've never ever known anything like it. But that's just typical of West Ham United. Adama Traoré obviously had a backstory with Nuno at Wolves, and he has barely played since the game against Leeds in the Cup, when a lot of people thought that he was one of the better players. He's barely been seen since. It's like I say, there's an awful lot of things that we're going to have to be really dead honest about if we're going to come back from this, about how we got to be here and everything else, about how we get to sort of try and compete in the Championship next season and put ourselves in a position where we're going to be in the closing stages of that season, that we're going to be in contention. Because if we don't, as each season rolls past, it becomes more and more difficult to get back up to the promised league of the Premier League, promised land of the Premier League, excuse me. But it's a bit of pill to swallow, obviously, as well, that it's Tottenham that have got out of jail at our expense. But at the end of the day, whatever you want to say about, we got 39 points and we got a certain amount of goals and this, that, and the other, and results since January, it counts. And I think it's all bullshit. And we're where we deserve to be. Everybody knows before a ball is kicked in the Premier League that if you finish in the bottom three, you're going out of the Premier League for the following season. That's where we find ourselves, and we're there because we deserve to be. We do not deserve to be a Premier League team next season, and that's all there is to it. Gutted, just absolutely gutted that we are where we find ourselves. But we got to lick our wounds, we got to dust ourselves down, and we got to come back stronger. So let's see where we go next season in the Championship. And like I say, it'll be a big changes. I think, like I say, new manager, new players. Hopefully some of the youth will get an opportunity, the likes of Lewis Orford, the likes of Ollie Scarles. I think they should have been getting opportunities this season, truth be told, because the players that played in their places didn't really do too much to impress. So anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe to the West Ham Massive. Drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you soon. Gum on you irons.